It was a dark and stormy night, with John alone, engrossed in a book. The world outside his window was a tempest of chaos. The wind howling like a wild beast, rain lashing against the glass, each drop a tiny drumbeat adding to the symphony of the storm. Every so often the heavens would rip open with a flash of lightning, a brief, stark illumination against the inky darkness. In the heart of this tempest sat John, sequestered in the comforting warmth of his home, the flickering light from his reading lamp casting long shadows that danced and shivered on the walls. His heart pounded in his chest as he thought he heard a noise, a creak, a sigh, a whisper from the floorboards above. He paused, listening intently for a moment before shaking off the eerie feeling and dismissing it as nothing but the wind, or perhaps his overactive imagination. As he went back to his book, the sound echoed again, louder this time, like something being dragged across the floor. Suddenly the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. Our friend John was left in his living room, the comforting hum of electricity replaced by the howl of the wind and the patter of rain against the window panes. He fumbled around, his hands finally finding the cool, reassuring metal of a flashlight in the drawer next to him. The beam of light cut through the darkness, casting long, distorted shadows on the walls. Then it happened. The unmistakable creak of the attic door echoed through the silent house, followed by the slow, deliberate thud of heavy footsteps descending the stairs. John's heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the rhythm of those approaching footsteps. He was frozen in place, caught in a vice of fear. As the footsteps reached the living room doorway, lightning flashed, revealing a shadowy figure. The beam of John's flashlight wavered, danced, and then, as if mirroring his own terror, it flickered and went out. The next morning, a neighbor found John dead from fright. The sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting a soft, eerie glow over the quiet neighborhood. As the light crept into John's house, it revealed a chilling scene. John, still seated in the chair, a look of sheer terror etched on his face. The neighbor, taken aback by the chilling sight, quickly dialed for the police. The patrol cars arrived in a matter of minutes, their sirens cutting through the early morning silence. The officers carefully combed through the house, their boots echoing on the wooden floorboards. Room by room they searched, expecting to find a culprit hiding in the shadows. But the house was empty, save for the lifeless body of John. The investigators were puzzled. There were no signs of forced entry, no traces of a struggle, and no evidence of another person ever being in the house. The only clues they had were the chilling sounds John had described to his neighbor over the phone just hours before his death. The case was a mystery that baffled the entire town. Rumors spread like wildfire, some saying it was a ghost, others claiming it was a creature of the night. But the truth was, nobody knew. The only witness to the terrifying events was John, and he was no longer here to tell his tale. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the mystery of John's death remained unsolved. The house stood vacant, a silent testament to the terrifying events of that stormy night. Some claimed to still hear the creaking of the attic door and the heavy footsteps echoing in the night. To this day, no one knows who or what was in the house with John that terrifying night.